Let's hope this is the start of many fusion efforts around the city in every one of the 5 boroughs. The next place we do fusion is across in Astoria, connected by the bridge. And you know, there are a lot of other people, by your example, Irene and George, coming together, who are going to feel that, yes, you can come together for the good of a city, and you don't have to be separated by party affiliation and party ideology. Marjorie Taylor Greene, no, we're not divorcing. We're uniting. Kathy Hochul, we're not leaving. Just because we might disagree with you, we're not leaving. As George mentioned, it's going to stop the flight, improve, don't move, and work together for the common good. And wouldn't it be great if, when the primary process is over, Irene can supersede the sitting city councilwoman by winning on the ballot? That's where the fight is won, on the ballot. And George can win the Republican nomination. And then the community has the best of both worlds, because whoever wins, ultimately, the community is better off, whether it's Irene the Democrat or George the Republican. So thanks for all coming here, and thanks for being the first, and thanks again from me personally. The Bronx made the Guardian Angels. I couldn't have done this in Brooklyn, where I was born and raised. I couldn't have done it in any other borough. The Bronx was open-minded to the Guardian Angels. We're now in 13 countries, 130 cities with 5,000 members around the world, but it started in the Bronx. And this effort to bring fusion and have a bipartisan way of dealing with problems, notice, I saw it in the Bronx years ago with Herman Badil and Rudy Giuliani playing stickball with me in this park behind us, Loretta Park. And we could do it over and over and over again and put aside our differences for what's in the best interest of our community, our city, and naturally our country, the United States of America. So thanks for coming out here today.
I have a question from the mailman that was observing this press conference. He wants to know on record, will you, either one of you two or both, will hire the fired workers with retro pay and retro everything? The mailman right there just walked away. Want to know that question to be answered.
100%. And I'm George Hav, and I approve.
I got a question for George Havranek as a reporter. Why did you donate $350 to Marjorie Velasquez? Okay, why? Now you're running against her. Okay.
Let Irene answer that question also.
Irene didn't donate. George Havranek donated.
No, he'll answer you. Irene was also asked that question, correct?
He's not a reporter. He works for George Havranek. He works for George Havranek.
I will always support the postal workers. My son-in-law is a postal worker. And I will tell you that they are the best, and we have to make sure that they are happy in their work and in their salaries and in their benefits, as well as any first responder. They have to come first. Without them, we cannot have a safe city. So we need to take care of them and take care of us. Thank you, Dion, for asking
this
the
woman
question.
had the same question right here.
She's not the campaign manager.
Go ahead, Robert.
You can answer
Go ahead.
the question. I have no problem answering the question if you want to film it. It's fine.
You gave.
You already asked the question. I know what I gave. I can tell you right now. And I admitted it.
Ask Robert Press if he works for
No,
Christie's
it's very
campaign.
simple.
He doesn't.
No. It's a very simple thing. If you look at my history and you want to look at everything, I've been very philanthropic over the years, and that is true. I donated a total of $350 to Marjorie Velasquez's campaign after Mark, Joe, and I dropped out of the contest. That was after vetting every one of our Democratic candidates, asking them questions, and Marjorie Velasquez is the only one that can answer certain questions as far as the council dynamic. Simple questions such as, how does a bill become a law? What is deference in the council person? What about zoning issues? She was the only one that could answer that. And at that time, she assured me, because I was there as president of the Spencer Estate Civic Association, and she assured me that she would never, ever, ever change our low-density zoning, and she would respect the low-density growth management area. And that is why I donated to her. Now also, if you want to look at public records, I have also donated to Alex Meacham, her opponent. I have also donated to Tiz Nastasio, a Republican. I have also donated to Mark Jonah, a Democrat. I have also donated to Tina Forte, a Republican. And if you look further, I have donated more. And if you want to go even further into my philanthropic ways, recently I actually helped fund a school in Harlem that needed seats for a reading room. A scanner broke in this room too, not too long ago. As soon as they heard that, they didn't have to say anything. I called up and I said to them, where do you need it delivered? And you know what they told me? An address. And you know what happened? They got the scanner. So don't misconstrue my philanthropic ways with any political endeavors. And the bottom line, the fact that I gave her money does not change how I feel today, because
Well,
Bob,
you're not up for
simply is this.
reappointment, though.
Bob, simply it's this. As soon as she changed her tune and I caught her, I changed my tune. I led rallies at the Ice House against her. I led the rally in front of her office. I rented a sign truck in front of her office. You were there.
Yes, I was.
So I put my money where my mouth is. And when you take me for a fool, I come after you. She took me for a fool, and I came after her. And she is nothing but the Bruckner betrayer and the Throckneck traitor. So that is your question. Ask.
Good answer.
Any other questions that anybody has?
Can you tell me about this organization in Queens? The organization in Queens. What's the name of it? And you started it?
All right, the gentleman asked about our efforts across the bridge in Astoria. We just last week opened up the Ronald Reagan Republican Club. There hadn't been a Republican club there in about 7 years. And we started it with the goal of reaching out also to moderate Democrats, as was his method. We're also approaching Peter Vallone Sr., who still lives there, has his law office there, who is the ultimate moderate Democrat who worked with David Dinkins when he was Speaker of the Council, and then when Rudy Giuliani replaced him. So that's who we're trying to appeal to. Republican, there aren't that many in Astoria. Lots of independents, because most young people are now registering as independents, and of course moderate Democrats. And the candidate, both candidates said we're endorsing, one Republican, one moderate Democrat. They will be attempting to unseat Tiffany Caban, who is defunding the police, in favor of that, also defunding corrections, and recently issued an advisory to all small retail shops that when they have a problem, don't call 911, call 311. And if you're dealing with an emotionally disturbed person or someone who's creating a problem outside of your store, do two things. Try to distract the individual, go up to them, say, hey, didn't I go to high school with you? Pour a drink on yourself, distract the person. Now, I've been doing this for 44 years. I think everybody knows I know how to deal with emotionally disturbed homeless people or persons who could be potentially violent. That stuff does not work.